The city of Cape Town says gangs are hampering the housing projects now. There's claims of extortion, unlawful occupation that have also marred some of the city's projects. And this, of course, one can expect is stalling progress. Let's get more details now. We speak to Cape Town's Human Settlements Mayoral Committee member, Malusi Booi. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Contractors leaving job sites, claims of extortion. What's going on?
Well, the issue of extortion, I mean, we have seen it across the city and also across the country. And you would have seen people like Mandela Bono, who pretended to be subcontractors in KZN. It has not gone to that level, but we have seen some incidents that are happening within our construction sites, and of which we have been able to manage that at this particular point. But we're hoping that it's not going to escalate at any given point.
If it has, pardon me, Mr. Booi, for coming in there. If it hasn't gotten to the level then that we've seen in some of the provinces, a very worrying level, that is, what have you seen happening on the ground?
Well, there are sites where contractors have had to leave some projects. And what we have done as a city now is to enhance security around those projects, so that they can be able to continue. Because you must remember, people who are waiting for those opportunities are your vulnerable and your poor people. So we sure that we're getting not only our law enforcement and also SABC, but we're getting also private security to assist us is to enhance the security within our projects so that our projects can run smoothly.
Have these people been identified?
Well, in most instances, such people camouflage as business forums. In some instances, they camouflage as subcontractors, and they come and demand 30% of the share within the project, pretending to be subcontractors. But at the end of the day, it's not people who are willing to participate in the project or do the project, but it's people who want to extort money and go elsewhere and try and get money elsewhere. So we're trying to cap that as a city of Cape Town. I mean, myself and the mayor, we have been on the forefront also at the portfolio committee meeting in Parliament last week to make sure that we get SABC on board, we get everybody on board to make sure that we cap this issue and it does not spread any further. So we have support from provincial government and provincial SABC, and also our law enforcement entities within the city of Cape Town. So we are making sure that our projects are going to run smoothly.
And I mean, one thinks about even projects like the Valhalla Park project that have ground to a halt. What are law enforcement authorities saying? I mean, surely someone should be behind bars for this?
Valhalla project is going well.
Yeah.
There's no incident in Valhalla. But it's something that happened many years ago.
Yes.
But that project has been restored, and that project has been restored, and it's going well to date. And there are projects in Mitchell's Plain where contractors had to leave site. So it's one of the few incidents that we've had. So, but we are not leaving any stones unturned. We're trying to make sure that we get enough capacity to cap this from spreading.
Especially because, I mentioned Valhalla, and I know it's going well now, but it was in 2017 when it happened. And now, here, years later, you are still sitting with some of the concerns in some parts of the province. My question then is, what are the law enforcement authorities telling you is becoming an impediment to arresting some of these people? Because if you're going to go to a site and you're pretending to be someone that you're not, and you're trying to extort money, surely that, is a crime, and it should be concerning, particularly, as you say, that it's the people that are desperate for these houses that need them the most.
Well, the engagement that we had with South African Police Service, because remember, they're the organ of state where criminality gets reported. So they indicated to us that some of these instances are not even, or cases are not even reported to them. But the few that are reported to them, some people have fear of taking the case further. But there are instances where they are following up on cases and making sure that there are some arrests so that we can be able to get those people who are identified. So people are not easily identified because also the very same community members are not are not convinced enough or have the courage enough to go and report some incidents, because they can be victimized at a later stage.
And definitely, victimization is a huge concern. So this budget that you've now put in to try and deal with some of these security issues, to make sure that this work continues, could we see it deal with some of these issues as well? Because the more community members are fearing for their lives, they're not going to come forward. Information is not going to be coming forward. And you may then have to put out fires in many areas.
Well, what we have encouraged SABC and also our enforcement agencies is to encourage them to invest more on intelligence, because some of these incidents, they need more intelligence, which as a city we will not be able to have budget for such intelligent operations. But we are doing whatever is best for ourselves to make sure that we gather whatever information. But going forward, we have allocated through the adjustment budget now a budget of about 15 million rands for additional security, to make sure that we, as I've indicated previously, we cap the spread of this challenge.
And for you, when you're looking at the time, that would have lapsed in some of these projects as you're trying then to deal with some of the security issues, in your view, what would have been, the setback here? By how many years, how many months, would you have had then to complete these projects and move on to others so people can access, these particular homes that you're building for them?
Well, we have had a setback of more than 2 to 3 years, in some instances 4 years,
sure.
And of which in some of the projects we should have completed civil works now and built top structures so that those communities can be able to get their houses on time. But we are doing our level best, hence to the adjustment budget, we had to allocate some funding and making sure that we enhance the security with the tactical response going forward. And because I have to make sure that all our projects are running smoothly without any interruptions.
And that is very important there, as people really look to people like yourselves to be able to provide some of these services. So let's see what then happens with this one. And hopefully then this, the additional budget for security can then go a long way to be able to assist. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. That was Cape Town Human Settlements Mayoral Committee member Malusi Booi, talking about a story that is very disturbing, especially when you think about what we've seen happen in KwaZulu-Natal with, some claims of this, extortion. You're looking at some of the sites that have had, contractors have had to stop working essentially because of what is going on there. So certainly this is one to watch.